Easy. A while ago I put out a video about Greta Thunberg. I will leave a link to it in the description and I won't forget this time. I would describe my tone on that video as fair but firm. Some of you may say that I was perhaps a little harsh. But anyway, I stand by what I said. Although, having seen her latest cringeworthy performance at the UN Climate Conference, I'm afraid I have to strike a different tone. Because what I see here now is not the irritating teenage girl. Is I see a victim of a form of child abuse. So, when I watched her performance, my immediate reaction was to start laughing because it was the most cringeworthy thing that I've ever seen. The fake emotion, the almost tears. And when you think about it for a minute, that this girl is, she suffers from Asperger's syndrome, and she suffered from depression and also obsessive compulsive disorder. In other words, she's a very vulnerable girl, and for people who are going to fill her head with tales of Armageddon, to tell her that the world's going to die in 10 years and she's going to die in 10 years, she doesn't have the mental capacity like many 16-year-old girls would have, and the majority of adults would have, to cut through the shit, to sort out the wheat from the chaff, and to sit there and say, well, I don't believe you. She doesn't have that capacity. And these people who have turned her now into the Messiah, what have they done? They have actually made her believe that she's going to die, and the world is going to die. What she doesn't have the capacity to understand is that in the UK, that we are putting out the lowest emissions that we have in centuries. She doesn't understand that under the watch of Donald Trump, of all people in America, that emissions are down. So she can't process this like a normal human being. And the other thing that stuck out at me is that when Donald Trump made an appearance, and he wasn't originally supposed to be there, he said he wasn't going to go, but he did. And you could see that when the cameras were trained on Greta and the adults that were stood next to her, that they'd obviously got word that he was there. And they were sort of rubbernecking around like this, kind of looking for him. And she was stood there amongst them doing the same thing. And then when he walked into view, he had his back to them. So he couldn't actually see that they were there. And you could see that the expression on the adults that were next to her, you could see the expression change. Almost to say, oh, there he is. And that's when she let out this scowl, this... I probably can't do the face very well. But she'd been trained, she'd been told to do that. The cameras were there, trained on her, ready for that facial reaction. So, these people that are manipulating her, I mean, make no mistake that there are people making money out of this. And to use a girl with these kind of disabilities for their own ends, shame on them. You all got a glimpse of the result of what these scumbags are doing to this girl. And I'm afraid to say now that there's probably no turning back from this. But I'll tell you who can do something about this now. And that is her parents. And, you know, shame on them for allowing this to get this far. They are complicit in this. And if I was her dad right now, what I would be saying is, right, okay, enough's enough now. We've taken this too far. After any parent, I'm not a parent, but any parent watching that performance would have been worried for this girl. But that's what it was all about. It was all about a show to tug on the heartstrings of people. Well, I'm sorry, but my judgments are not made through emotion. My judgments are made through logic and through common sense. And I'll tell you, if there's one thing that Greta Thunberg was right about in that speech that she gave, is that when she said that I shouldn't be here, I should be back home at school. Yes, dear, you should be. And I'll tell you who should be making sure that that happens. Her parents. They are responsible for this. They should be making sure that she's in school. They should be protecting her from this. They should be treating her like the vulnerable girl that she is, and they're not doing any of that. And shame on them. That's disgraceful. So I hope that I clear up my original, perhaps wrongful approach to this girl, but I still stand by what I said in that. Because that was then, and now's now, and now we know more about her. And we should all be sickened about what these, the heads of the climate alarmists have done to this girl. Shame on them. Shame. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Easy.